With friends, and I am raw to the bone. I know, IG, you had a little hesitation. You had to wait. You had to wait a little bit. But good morning. Happy hump day, y'all. I am here. No, I did not go to work. Another day in the office. Um, I came back from New Orleans. I'm a little congested. And so to be safe, I'm just staying home, rocking out this week, and I'll head into the office next week. All right. But for now, I'm going to rest myself and get rid of this little sinus, little irritation that I got going on. Hey, Mishi Boo, good morning. Good morning. Come on in. In the meantime, between time, I'm going to give y'all some of these positive vibes as we get started, y'all. I didn't change the topic because it's going to be a continuation with some additional thoughts around what are we accepting. And in the meantime, between time, let me start this day off with, because you know what? It's going to be a what?
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four,
Hey,
everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, yo. But you always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken. I got patience, one day at a time. That's how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
hey, today's gonna be a good day. Good morning, y'all. Happy hump day. You know, I'm glad I'm here, y'all. I did look out the window and I did think about going to work for a brief minute, but I still got this cough and I'm TMI, I'm bringing up a little bit of phlegm. Right. And so I didn't want to go into the office because I am that very person that if you come into the office and you knew you were coughing and you are coughing with like some loose shit going on that you got to spit out, I'm going to look at you sideways and I'm going to call the CDC. I'm going to be like, why the fuck is this person here? Like, I know that we're not in pandemic mode anymore, right? But still, like ever since COVID, unfortunately, there's been a fear struck in me that wasn't there before when we had the flu and we had the measles and the chicken pox and all this other shit. Hey, Reginaldo, good morning. I didn't have that kind of fear, but seeing a country get plagued with something in my lifetime where everybody's wearing a fucking mask, it's scary, y'all. And so today, I still carry my mask. I don't wear it as much because I'm on the fence with it right now, right? When I wear my mask, we're told if you constantly wear a mask, you do not allow your immune system to build up defenses, right? So as soon as you take your mask off and you be gallivanting around, you might catch some shit easy, right? If you go without a mask and your immune system gets stronger, built up, but you might catch some shit along the way. So I sit on the fence with it, but I have been trying to get more comfortable more and more without my mask in certain places because I just can't bar hop with a mask on. And so I'm trying to accept that fact, but at the same time, I came back congested, right? Now in the olden days when we went out and we partied and we came back congested, we just brushed it off as a cold, sinus infection, whatever, right? But the state of fear that this country has put us in with this pandemic, everything to me is, oh my God, I might have COVID. I don't even be thinking of nothing else. Like, it could simply be allergies, y'all. Right? But automatically, I always be like, oh, maybe I got COVID. And I start staring at the self-test in the closet. And I'm like, should I take this test? The fuck? They're always going to have us testing ourselves. Then you go to CVS Pharmacy to pick up your prescription and they offer you more home tests. Right? So, you just don't know, right? They're not worried about you catching no other shit. I'm just saying. But happy Wednesday, y'all. So what is new as we are gathering? And before I read my positive thought for the day, what did you guys do that was new and exciting these past couple of days? Or what have you been watching? Like the new shit. Oh, did y'all watch Luther? The new Luther on Netflix. Who watched Luther on Netflix? What did y'all think? Did anybody see Luther on Netflix? I'm not going to talk about it if y'all ain't seen it, right? But if you have not seen Luther on Netflix, I love Idris Elba, if I said his name right, Elba, right? And as soon as it started, I posted on Facebook, they better not fuck this up. Okay? Good morning, Pat. I was like, they better than not fuck this up. It was interesting. I liked it. It was interesting. So if you have not gotten a chance to take a look at Luther on Netflix, all right, good morning, Pat, then take a look at it. Also, what I'm looking at on Netflix is, what the hell is Requiem, right? It's a story about a girl that was kidnapped, all right? And that's the story, but it's an interesting story, and it has some thriller behind it. It's a psychological thriller type movie. It might give off a little bit of supernatural stuff, but it's not that bad. For those that don't like horror movies, it's in between. My mother is actually watching it, which means it's really not that scary. All right. And so that's another interesting one to watch. And one that's on my list is The Glitch. My mother just finished watching that series, and she said that was pretty good. So those are all good things to take a peek at if you're bored and you're scratching. Now, I do see that Bel Air is back on, and I did take a peek at one of the episodes, and I don't know. How is anybody back watching Bel Air? Because I see mixed messages on social media about Bel Air. Some people are like, Bel Air's on some bullshit. What do y'all think? Anybody watching Bel Air? Or no, nobody give a fuck about Bel Air. All right. I didn't think so. I didn't go back to watch it yet. I might tap into it because I did like the first season. But the second season, based on a little bit that I saw, I'm not exactly sure I'm into it like that. But we shall see. But definitely one to watch is, I got a couple of things to talk about this morning. Y'all better hurry up and come in here. Okay. I got a couple of things to talk about this morning. Yeah, so those are some good shows to watch, all right? So I was scrolling through IG yesterday, right? And Nene Leakes posted, and I like like Nene Leakes. Some people, people have a love-hate relationship with Nene Leakes, but I'm like, fuck it. I don't know her personally. People be going hard for people that they don't the fuck know. They be hating people they don't the fuck know. Disliking people they don't the fuck know. Loving people they don't the fuck know. Fighting for people they don't the fuck know. These are celebrities that half of these motherfuckers that be commenting on Shade Room don't even know. So Nene Leakes posted on Instagram, because she has a Lady of Success Club, right? She was doing it since Housewives of Atlanta. So this is something that she does, that obviously she's passionate about, and I think is beautiful, right? The only thing is, yesterday when she posted on IG, Nene Leakes posted on IG, she is inviting new women to come along and join the Lady of Success, club, right? But there's criteria to do that. She said, if you want to be with ladies that like to travel, that have like-minded mindsets, that want to grow, that want to invest, that want to be in business together, come and be a part of Lady Success. The criteria is, good morning, Angel. The criteria is, you send a headshot, a little biography of yourself. Hey, African Queen, a little biography of yourself. And you have to make a minimum of $150K a year. And so, because she said you have to be able to travel, invest, do all kinds of things, right? And so the minimum salary requirement was $150 a year. So I was like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, man, $150 a year ain't shit, right? That's easy. $150 a year, that's easy, right? But I'm gonna tell you no lie. Just because you make $150 a year don't mean that you are financially successful. It doesn't mean that you could travel. It doesn't mean that you can invest. It doesn't mean that you are responsible with your money. Everybody's situation is different. So the criteria of making $150K threw me off, because I know people that make less than $150K that's more successful than people that make $150K and up, because they are more financial savvy, they invest smarter, they save better. You know what I'm saying? They travel more. I know some of my friends that make way less than me. They travel a whole fucking lot more than me, right? Because I'm too busy spending my money on other shits. Maybe because I take too many Ubers from New York City because I have drunken nights. And maybe they don't. Right? And so the criteria of $150K threw me off. So I made a comment on her post, and I said, this would be more powerful if Lady of Success Club was opened up to all women, right? That, was able to travel, able to invest. The criteria of making $150K, why does that need to be there? Because somebody making $120K might be able to do all of that. Somebody making $90K that don't have any children might be able to do that. So when you say $150K, you are slicing out a population of people and only catering to these people to make these ladies a success. So my comment was, why not open it up to all? Right? That's more powerful. See, to me, when you have a platform and you have a following, right? And you have an impact on people, right? Stop limiting the growth potential to those that might already be in a wealth category, right? Open it up to those that are not necessarily in those income brackets, because you would be surprised at how many you can uplift and teach at all income levels. Well, baby, why I say that on that post? Motherfuckers that act like they sip tea, eat Nene's cootie cat, jumped on the IG and was like, oh my God, you on here judging. I said, baby, I am not judging. I made a comment and stated my opinion on a public post that's on IG. And you on here like Nene's auntie trying to check me. The fuck? Right? And so, opinions fucking matter. That's my opinion, and I stand by it, right? If we are in a position where we can help our community, right? We need to be aware that not only those with the high income bracket need help, or want to need to be a part of these success clubs, right? But if we want to give back to our community, we need to start opening up clubs like this for people that have the money, that's opening up these type of clubs and giving these women and men opportunities. They need to open it up to others outside of those high income brackets. They will be surprised. Now that would be impactful, in my opinion. That was my commentary back to Nene on her post. That would be more impactful, right? This is how you elevate others, right? But you only want to work with the elevated. What about those that are trying, right? We need more of that. I'm just saying. Hey, the General. Congratulations. The General said he lost 5 pounds. I'm feeling that shit. I ain't stepping on the scale. I just came back from NOLA, so fuck that. I wouldn't know what the scale said before I went to NOLA anyway. It don't matter. I go by my clothes. The fuck? Okay. Georgie said, I think I need to wait for all the episodes of Bel Air to post before I watch the past first episode I saw a few weeks ago. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Georgie, because I saw one episode and I was like this. I was like, maybe I need to binge watch the shit. Okay? Maybe I need to binge watch that shit. Good morning, Theo. Okay? The General said, oh, and I'm thinking of doing a class for women to learn football. I love that. Listen, the General, do follow your passion. I love it. Get your coffee, y'all. It is hump day. And I didn't change the topic because I want to add to that topic today, right? But I'm going to read the positive thought of the day, and we'll see where we're going from there. Today is March 15th. Oh my God. We are actually in March. This is the month of Aries. The motherfuckers, they coming. Okay. My son's birthday is the 26th. My granddaughter's birthday is April 9th. The motherfuckers are coming. The fuck. March 15th. I open my heart and mind to be aware. The power to change leads to a powerful change. Woo! Wait a minute. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I open my heart and mind to be aware. The power to change leads to a powerful change. Let's read what this shit says. Oh, no, Gemini. No, stop that. Angel said, Gemini, we in this bitch. Now stop that. Is that a Gemini? Is that an Aries? That's an Aries sign. Oh, Angel. Angel said, we in this bitch. No, Aries is... All right, I'm going to read this positive thought because we're not going to talk about Aries before I read this positive thought. No, my son is a Aries. Theo, he's March 26th. That's Aries all day. Taurus is May. Taurus is May. All right, May and April is Taurus. Theo, March 15th. Just in case you missed yesterday's message, here's another perspective. This is why I kept what are we accepting up here. Okay. Oh, shoot, the General. I think you told me that before, right? I love it. Just in case you missed yesterday's message, here is another perspective. No matter what is going on in your life or at any given time, there is only one thing you could do. No matter how you feel in response to a specific experience, circumstance, situation, or memory, there is always one thing you can do. In every and any situation, regardless of the mitigating factors, You can always change your mind. Wow. Are y'all hearing this? If what you are thinking, saying, or doing in response to any person or experience is not bringing you peace, hold up. I need to read that again because y'all motherfuckers, if what you are thinking, saying, or doing in response to any person or experience is not bringing you peace, change your mind. If your mind is flooded with memories and thoughts of a pain-filled past or a not so promising future, change your mind. You can do it just like that. When you change your mind, the things you've been thinking about, worrying you, when you change your mind, the things you've been thinking about, worrying about, crying over, running from, will look completely different. It may not be that anything in the actual picture changes. However, your changed mind will alter the way you see it. This is true. I didn't read this before right now, and I'm still reading. But this shit is resonating with me. Change your mind. It ain't easy, but you got to change your mind. If you are serious about creating a change in your mind, here are a few tips. Do not insist that people who want them to be. Do not insist that people be who you want them to be. Do y'all hear that? Do not insist that people be who you want them to be. Don't do that. Do not insist that you are someone you are not. How many of y'all are adjusting yourselves to be around certain folk? Do not insist that you can do things you cannot do. Overextending yourself, saying yes when you need to say no. Do not insist that you know things that you don't. Do not insist that you will do things that you won't do. Don't be making no fucking promises that you can't keep. Don't say shit that you can't live up to. Do not insist that everything is wrong about you. Do not insist that you are right. Whenever you are insistent about something, you create an attachment. Breaking the attachment creates disruption in the mind. Until today, you may not have realized that you can always change your mind. Just for today, be devoted to changing how you think about things, how you see things, what you tell yourself about everything. Changing your mind about anything or anyone transforms how those things or persons impact your life. Did y'all catch that last sentence? Changing your mind about anything or anyone transforms how those things or persons impact your life. Today, I am devoted to changing my mind about things and about myself. You know, as each day passes, that was a good one. As each day passes, I do these assessments of myself. Good morning, Zen. Good morning. Happy to see you. Each day I do these assessments of myself. Well, not each day. Each difficult situation that I stumble across, right? I do a self-assessment, right? And what I'm recognizing about myself is that I am not reacting the same way to things how I used to react, right? I am not. And it's almost as if you know, I was celebrating myself recently because, you know, the old Raw, when something happens or something affects me, right? You know, instead of taking 10 steps back and assessing the situation and trying to determine how I can change the dynamics of a situation, or thinking through my response before I respond, I would just flip the fuck out and respond. No thought, no nothing. Flip the fuck out and respond. That has gotten me in trouble many times, right? And so the new me in this unpacking journey, right? I also pay attention to how I respond to things, right? Now, there's been a lot of ugly shit that has happened in my life in the past year or two, right? Some uncomfortable things, some ugly things that have happened, and some changes that I've had to go through, right? And I pay attention to how I was then and how I react and respond to things now, right? And one of the things that, I noticed about myself, because, we have to do a self-assessment and see if we're growing, right? And I think I'm growing, right? And one of the things that I assess about myself is now when something happens, when whether it's someone does something to me or an event occurs that affects me in some way, instead of reacting to it right away, I marinate in it. That's new for me, right? Because I used to just jump off the cliff and be like kung fu fighting in the air, right? But now I marinate in shit and I think it through. And I make sure that it's what I thought I saw, it's what I thought I heard. I try to piece it all together, and then I try to move through and figure out how I'm going to respond to that event, right? I try to figure out how I'm going to respond to that event. And that is my way of changing my mind. That's a way of changing my mind. Did I know that that's what I was doing until I read this today? No. Right? But it works. Change your mind. Right? We are responsible for how we respond to things. Yesterday, we talked about what is it we are accepting. And I kept that title here because, it's an ongoing theme for me. It reminds me of, I see this thing about Chris Rock's stand-up comedy show, right? And there's mixed reviews, right? Some people love it, some people hate it. Like everything else, everything is not for everybody. I keep telling people this. The more we understand that everything is not for everybody, we would give more and more less fucks. Right? And so there was this debate or ongoing debate on social media that Chris Rock's stand-up sucked, and some people thought it was good. Some people thought he needs to get over the Chris Rock, the Will Smith slap. I want to talk about not the slap, but I want to talk about this phrase, get over it. What does that mean to you when someone says, get over it? Or when you tell somebody to get over it, if you are the person to tell somebody to get over it, what is it you're telling them to do? I need answers, right? Because this still falls under what are we accepting, right? I see so many people on there talking about, oh my God, Chris Rock is still talking about this shit, get over it. Or this is still happening, get over it. Or that's still happening, get over it. What the fuck does get over it mean? And who is the timekeeper? Who is the timekeeper of get over it? Like, where is it on the clock that it says, here is where the get over it ends and where the get over it starts? Like, who is the keeper of the time of when somebody needs to get over something? What are we accepting? I'm still on this shit, right? Because this goes beyond the Chris Rock shit, right? This goes to slavery. This goes to the Holocaust. This goes to your mama used to beat you when you were young, and the insensitivity of people, human beings that walk around telling people that are carrying around trauma and hurt and pain from things that they've experienced, right? Loss of family members, significant others through death. And people, there's a population of people running around telling other motherfuckers to get over shit. What does get over it mean? What are y'all actually asking the person to get the fuck over? And how are they going to get over it? Are you offering them tools to get over the shit? That's one thing I can't stand, is a motherfucker to tell me to get over something. This is where we don't show each other compassion and we don't give each other grace. We walk around and we say we do, right? But because you're tired of that person reminiscing or feeling a certain way because you don't want to hear it anymore, you tell them to get over it. So is the get over it statement to soothe the other person from not hearing the shit anymore? Or are you really truly thinking you're helping the person by telling them to get over it? I'm asking. Hi, CDP. Zen said, this is to the change your mind, change your mindset. Hey, interior room. Zen said, one of the things I always say, change your perspective, change your life. Meaning, if you learn how to look at things differently, you can really make great strides in moving forward. Thank you, Zen. That's not easy to get to. I'm working my way there, and that's a good place to be. Change your perspective. If you learn to look at things differently. Uhu said, my shirt says get over it. That's funny. Hey, Maria. I love that. Yep. Change your perspective. I love that. I love that. What are we accepting? And so I haven't seen the Chris Rock stand-up comedy thing yet, but obviously he talked about the Will Smith slap or whatever, and people are frustrated about it. But really and truly, my input to this is this. And I feel this way. If something happened in my life and it affected me, and I feel the fuck like talking about it, I'ma fucking talk about it. Why are we as human beings telling other people to stop talking about stuff that's affecting them? Why do you think we do that? But Mishi Boo, Mishi Boo says sometimes saying get over it means let it go so you can move on. Okay, great point, right? So how, right? Because what human beings do is they tell people to get over shit, and that's it. They don't tell them how, what tools to help them get over it. Nothing. They just be like, get over it like it's easy. Like the motherfucker's just going to be like, okay, snapped out of it. I'm over it. Like when you tell somebody to get over it, do you think that if you have the balls to tell somebody to get over something, don't you think you have the balls to extend additional information and some suggestions of how that person can possibly move towards getting over it? You think telling somebody to get over it and just leaving it like that makes the next person feel good? How do you think that makes the next person feel? CDP said, everybody moves on and gets over things in different ways, and some takes longer than others. And that part, I remember my husband, my girlfriend, when she lost her husband years later. To this day, she's still mourning her husband. He been gone a long time. Long time. Right? And I remember one day, she said to me, I know it's strange that I still mourn him, but I said, baby, nobody can tell you how long to mourn. Nobody can tell you to get over it. Like CDP said, everybody's timing is different. And it's really, in my opinion, insensitive for people to tell other people to get over shit, right? Unless you're going to come with some additional tools and guidelines to help them do that, then be careful what you say. Right? Think about how the other person feels. You know how I felt when someone told me to get over something. Like, I'm the person that will internally, if I love you and I lose you, it's going to hurt. Right? And I'm going to talk about that shit. Because I'm marinating in it. And sometimes I marinate in it out loud with my friends or who I think are my friends. Right? But sometimes your friends, they can't handle all your emotional shit. So they tell you to get over it so that they don't have to hear it. Right? And I understand sometimes the weight is heavy on them, but we got to find a different response. Maybe we should learn to respond with, you know what? Let's not talk about that right now because that's a little too heavy for me. But stop telling people, let's normalize, stop telling motherfuckers to get over shit. Angel said, regarding getting over it, there's no finish line. Who are we to decide that someone has had enough time to move on? CDP said, we just have to learn how to look at everything from everyone else's perspective and not just yourself. That part, but a lot of us give opinions. We give our thoughts. We interject based on how we feel without regard to the other person, right? The one thing I try not to do is tell people to get over it. I'm not gonna lie. I have said it in my head. Oh my God, we still talking about this. I wish she'd get over it. But I said it in my head because that's my human nature. That's my human form, right? But I wouldn't dare bring it to my mouth because I have compassion, right? I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like it. But this person is going through something. And if I stand there and I say that I'm that person's friend, right? Then I'll try to support that person in the best way that I can. Now, if I don't want to hear it, I'll be like, oh, can we bench this? Can we talk about this later? Now, that part, Pat. Now, there's a flip side. Pat brought in the flip side. Now, that's a good flip side, Pat. That's a good flip side. Let's talk about how we handle that. But you can you can remove yourself from that situation, right? You can't tell the other person to get over it. But I'm gonna read that shit, Pat, because that's a great point. All right. Mishi Boo said, I usually give compassion and try to show ways of letting it go and moving on. One reliable sin said, I'm not a huge fan of Chris Rock, but I watched the stand-up and he ended the show talking about the slap, and he has a right to talk about it because it's his truth. Maybe his form of release. Exactly. It's his business. His face got slapped. And he didn't talk about it all this time. Everybody else talked about it. Will Smith talked about it. Everybody else talked about it. Jada talked about it. But Chris Rock never talked about it. And as soon as he stood up on his stand-up comedy, they were like, oh my God, can he get over it? Get over the fuck what? He ain't never talked about it. He saved it for his stand-up comedy shit. Will and Jada, and she still, Will and Jada, and she's still talking about alopecia and mourning the loss of hair. What if somebody tell her to get over it? I mean, I mean, right. What if somebody told Miss Jada Pinkett to get over her alopecia? She'd be at the red table crying abuse and how people don't understand her plight. Really? Really? Now, Pat hit the ding dong on the ding dong. So let me read Pat's comment because Pat put a different spin on the shit, y'all. Let me put it on the screen because this is now I have a friend that fits this category, right? I ain't tell him to get over it. I just remove myself because I can't take it, right? Now, the Pat said sometimes people are talking about the same thing for years. 5, 10, 15, even 20 years, the same thing. It's also abusive to burden your friends with the same thing. That part, that's the flip side. Now, what happens when you have someone? I had someone in my friendship circle like that. They still my friend from a distance. Because 5, 10, 15 years later, like Pat said, they still in the same situation they were in and still trying to figure out how to get out and try to make a difference. But you know what I said? I didn't tell her to get over it. I removed myself. I was like, oh, and my brain couldn't handle it no more. So we became friends at a distance because, listen, it is emotionally abusive. It's a burden to me. I don't want to hear it. Like, I can't keep repeating the same thing, having the same conversations over and over again, 5, 10, 15, 20 years later. What this say? Change your mind. Change your mind. AKA Zen said, change your perspective. I changed my mind on that situation. I changed my perspective and I created distance because I don't want to hear the same shit 15, 20 years later and you in the same situation. I done flipped over 3 times in situations and you still in the same situation, complaining. Now, I don't tell people, listen, if you're in a situation and you're unhappy and you ain't talking about it, so be it. But if you're in a situation 5, 10, 15 years and you complaining about it, but you still there, I'm going to change my mind and change my perspective and go the other the fuck way. I'm not going to tell you to get over it though. Right? Because I don't have the tools or the ability to help you get over it. Right? And so I'm not going to tell you to get over it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to change my mind and change my perspective and scoot the fuck on. That's a good one, Pat. What do y'all think about that? Mishi agrees. Mishi said Jada did get over because she's rocking the low cut. So I think she's accepting it. Listen, Jada been rock. You know how many motherfuckers got alopecia? Okay. Ain't nobody was teasing Jada over no alopecia. Alopecia was out long before Jada was born. People been having alopecia for years. Ain't nobody bothering Jada over her head. The fuck? Alopecia is a condition that many people suffer from. She made a big deal over it. Nobody was... Please. Okay. Let me sit at... What color is her table? The red table. Let me just sit at my off-white eggshell color table and mind my business. The fuck? Okay. Angel said, I have a friend like that. I'll literally tell her I don't have the bandwidth. Okay, that's a great response. I don't have the bandwidth. It's still better than telling somebody get over it, right? Telling somebody to get over it. What do you think they do? Say it in their head, get over it, and it goes away? People can't help it. Me too, Angel. I love the fact that Chris monetized on the incident as well. Fuck everybody else. The fuck? Comedy for me, the genre comedy, stand-up comedy is in trouble. It's been in trouble for so many years. Like, when they go back to the Eddie Murphy, Red Fox days, Richard Pryor, all these days, right? They were nasty. They were disrespectful. They said all kind of shit. It was comedy. This new shit, people getting upset because you're talking about people bald heads and shit. Like, this is what the fuck comedy is about. People have become so soft over the generations, or maybe they're saying we accepted too much back then. I don't know. But comedy is in trouble, y'all. Because these people are getting up on these stages and doing stand-up comedy, and everything is being monitored. Mishi Boo said, what my friends did to me, I've forgiven them, but I'm slowly getting over it. And that takes time. And that takes time. Getting over it. That's the key, right? That is the key. Is Zen there in the dark? Oh, he's in the light now. Hi, Zen.
Hey, good
Hey,
morning.
Seven. Hey, Ghost. Good morning. Good morning.
I just wanted to jump on because you were talking about,
Get the
you
fuck
know,
over it.
the old shows. So
Yes.
Eric's been watching Archie Bunker, The Jeffersons,
Yep.
what's the I can't think of the name. I just the Red Fox,
Oh, Sanford and Son?
Sanford and Son. Yes. So
Yes.
these shows, awful. They're awful.
Little
But
House
they
on the
were
Prairie
funny.
too. Little House on the Prairie too.
Yes, all of them.
Yes.
But they were so fucking
Funny.
funny.
Nobody took anything personal.
No.
And you know what? When you look at these shows today, like Little House on the Prairie, when the little black boy asked, I don't know the names, the man, the father of the house,
Yeah.
if you could be born again, would you choose to be born black? This was just a conversation. Little House on the Prairie, we used to watch this after school. Right?
Wow.
And the father, because remember the little black boy used to hang out with the family.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, that's a good question. He couldn't answer the shit.
It is a good
Now,
question.
when you're little, you're not thinking of the depth of what was happening, right? And nobody complained. Nobody picketed the shit, right? Same thing with Archie Bunker. That motherfucker.
Every time like I would hear it, because he watches it on his iPad sitting at the kitchen table, and if I'm doing something, I'm hearing this stuff, and the things that they say, the dialogue, or when him and George Jefferson were like interacting, oh my god.
Right.
Between
That was
George calling
outright
him a
racist.
honky, right? And then everybody else saying, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, there was one episode where they were at a party, and it was George and Wheezy and someone else talking, and he said, watch, he gonna call the N-word next.
Right.
But he said it. He didn't say the N-word. He said the actual word. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah. They said whatever the freak they wanted to say on these shows. And I don't know at what point we became sensitive. But let me ask this though. Were we not sensitive enough back then? Or are we too sensitive now? What do you think?
I think it's kind of in the middle. I believe that at that point in time, a lot of things were changing in terms of integration and everything, right? I think it was still kind of new, and that people were kind of given a pass to say, well, this is the way it always was. It's just habit, right? Well, how long can you say it's just habit? Because you really, you should understand, like, the struggle that a lot of people went through or what they do go through on a daily basis
Yeah.
and be cognizant of that. Now, when you have people that are overly sensitive that are flipping out because somebody looks at them the wrong way, then that's way too extreme. Why not just help educate and just say, hey, by saying what you just said, it really hurt me and this is why. Right? So you're educating and not just popping off, because a lot of people just react.
Baby, can I pause you right there for a minute? Because I want to say, I'm gonna turn around. Can you pat me on my back? Are you patting me?
I am.
Okay. All right. The reason why, because baby, I just went through that. And normally something will happen and I'll flip the fuck off. I'll be like, what? Head start moving, hands start the fuck moving, right? But this is where I see a change in me, right? I'm marinated in some shit. And my response was more of a teachable moment, like what you said. This hurt me because, right? And I think that a lot of us, if we just think, because sometimes we get lost in the communication of it all because of how we deliver something, right? It automatically might put the other person in defense mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they're not hearing you. I love that. Right? Theo said, I will never tell people to get over it, but I will manage how I engage with them and tell them I don't have the capacity to have the conversation right now. But that point, I have given many suggestions. And that, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You have a right to not have the capacity to deal with other people's stuff. And so if you communicate that to them, I don't see anything wrong with that. That is way better to me than telling somebody to get over it. I feel that a lot of times we say get over it is because we don't want to hear it, right? We don't want to hear it because we don't give a fuck if they in their house talking to their stuffed animals about it, right? We just don't want to hear it. So we go get over it. That's a way to shut them up.
Yep.
Right? But there's a better way to do that by letting them know, listen.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that right now. Can we bench this for now? I'm sorry. I don't have the capacity. And if they respect you as you respect them, then they'll be like, cool. And nobody will be offended. Right? But when you tell me to get over it, depending on my mind frame at that moment, that might hurt my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
One further, right? So all that, totally agree. But to take it one step further, when I say change your perspective, change your life, it's learning to look at things, turning things on their side, looking at them from another angle, right? Looking at them as if they're not happening to me, but they're happening to a friend. What would I say? How would I react, right? And if you look at it that way, you may get a little bit more objectivity of how of that situation. So if you have a friend that's continually coming to you with the same thing over and over and over again, then just say to them, how is this working for you? Because all I hear is you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Nothing's changing.
Right.
So what can you do differently? If you're going to come to me and ask me my opinion, but not take anything from that, then don't ask me. But if you're willing to truly want to understand a different approach, a different way to look at this, I am totally willing to be there for you.
Yeah. I love
Just
that.
use their own logic against them. Like, why are you banging your head against the fucking wall? It's not working.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
But
Von Ray said, I honestly had to tell my friend I'm sick of hearing about the troubles in her marriage if she doesn't plan to do anything about it. I had a friend like that, and I was sick of hearing it too, but I didn't tell it to her like that because, you know, I just was like, in my head, I don't want to fucking hear it. This has been going on 10 years. The fuck? I don't want to hear it. And so I distanced myself and I said, listen, I wish you well. whatever decision you make, right? You know, I can't help you with this, you know, and that's it. And I left it alone, and we're distant friends, right? Because it does drain you, right? But you know, I can't tell her to get over it. I can't tell her. I don't know how to help her. I don't know how to tell her to leave her man, her husband. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do that. And so I just remove myself from the situation. But I try to have compassion. But inside, I be like, shut the fuck up, please. But that's the humanness in me, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying not to let come out. Right? I'm trying to be compassionate. Georgie said, are y'all talking about Jada going on a podcast saying Chris Rock is obsessed with her for his special? No, she did that. I don't care what Jada be saying. What she be saying? No. Von Ray said, I just don't understand why everyone jumped on Jada when Will was the one that did it. But
Because she was the catalyst.
Thank you, Rich. Because come on now, y'all seen it. We all watching the same thing.
She didn't like being the subject that was being talked about. Will reacted, overreacted to that situation because somebody was talking about his woman.
Let's talk about before he overreacted. What was he doing? Laughing and slapping his leg just like this. Look.
Right.
And then
she probably gave him that look like, motherfucker, what you gonna do?
We all saw it. She turned around and looked at him like this, and he got up.
Yep.
Don't talk about keep my wife's mouth out your.
Yeah, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Yeah.
Now he was laughing and slapped his leg. So come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Now he thought her bald head joke was funny until she turned around and looked at him. Now, to me, if I was Jada, now I can't say because everybody reacts different. So you know, this is one of those situations where you go, if it was me, I would do something different. But
be productive. Be productive starting.
We can't always predict how we're gonna react to something, but I just can't imagine if I was sitting there fly with all my money and a gorgeous ass bald head. You think I give a fuck that somebody says something about my bald head?
So wait, so Von Ray, okay, I hear what you're saying.
Oh, wait, what she said?
She said Will reacted on his own. He's responsible for his own actions. I don't think that it's right to put it on her. So I get it from that perspective.
He did it.
The only thing is there are, and I know people do it because I see it all the time, is that when spouses have been together for a long time, they communicate without words.
That's how my boyfriend got beat up in the movie theater.
So
I looked at him.
When you get a look, or you look and just happen to notice that your partner, your spouse, whomever, the person that you care about, even if it's your bestie, right, is not having a good time or is offended or hurt or whatever, you know that instinctually.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you're going to protect them or to defend them, whatever, you're going to react adversely to that situation, right? You're going to either get mad, get angry, you're going to say something. He got violent, he got physical because of what he saw on his wife's face. So I don't disagree with you. It totally was Will, but it was because of how she reacted. She was the catalyst to that situation. And okay, let's even say she wasn't the catalyst. Chris Rock was the catalyst to the situation, right? Because he said it. He started in on it. But it's no different than what any other comedian has ever done at any other show. Always somebody is the butt of the joke. It just
Always
happened to be her.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so, you know, it's funny because people, you know, they don't realize, just like you say, in relationships, people pick up on communication is verbal and nonverbal, right? We know hand, face. That's communication. We're talking.
Right.
This is talking. All right. And so I know because my boyfriend got beat up in the movie theater because I looked at his ass. I was like, And that motherfucker knew that meant you better fight, right? And he got beat up, right? And so he even said to me, well, if you didn't, well, what the fuck? I didn't say nothing, but I looked at him. So he reacted based on my look because he probably thought if he didn't respond, I'ma cuss his ass out when we leave. So you know, even though Jada did not do the actual act, right? To me, she was like the alternator that charged the engine, right? That made it go, right? That's just my opinion, but everybody's gonna have a different opinion on that, right? And so, and Jada did she ever even apologize? Since she didn't tell her husband, did she ever say, Chris Rock, I'm sorry? Did she ever even address that? No, I didn't see anything there, right? And so, neither here nor there, but the reason why Jada gets a bad rap is because she has been poking poor Will's side for so many years publicly that this is why people blame her for these things. Because when you have a wife that comes out and blatantly talks about she'd rather be with Tupac and she didn't want to marry Will. I mean, like, this is public information. You don't, tear down your significant other publicly. That man was emotionally broken when he got up and slapped Chris' face. Like, that was deeper than just that moment.
Yeah.
That was a lot of pent up shit that he's carrying. That wasn't just about that one moment. Mishi Boo said that look was, you just sitting there? Exactly.
See, everybody, but people, they understand, right? Because they've either been in that situation themselves where they've looked at their partner and been like, are you going to do something? Right? Are you just going to let this happen to me? Or they just know because they've seen it before. So it's and to Von Ray's point where she says, I understand your spouse being upset. However, there needs to be a line between reacting physically and verbally. I wouldn't want my spouse to put hands on someone else unless I was physically hurt.
Yeah.
You can't control that.
Yeah.
If a person loves you and they want to do everything to ensure that you're okay, whether it be emotionally, physically, or otherwise, they're going to react the way they want to react to ensure that you hurt my wife. Now I'm going to hurt you, right? You may not want that. You may not think that that's going to happen, but you can't control it, right? Unless you control yourself and don't react, right? Or you say later, that really bothered me what that person said.
Exactly.
Right? But if you're going to do it at that point in time, well, yeah, then someone's going to catch hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
just the way that is.
Yeah. Ghost said Will Smith is a soft ass man. He's weak as fuck. I mean, he's paying for it now. I'm pretty sure that was the most embarrassing moment for Will. I'm pretty sure he reacted out of a moment. I feel bad that he did it. I feel bad that this is looming over his head. This is one of those human reactions that we can't undo, right?
It's a mistake that he'll never be able to get rid of, right? He'll never be able to live down because someone will always be there to remind him.
Yes.
Unfortunately, right? Yeah. And just imagine if you're that person, right? And you've made an awful mistake. And someone is always going to tell you.
Yeah.
Think about people that go to jail for nothing, right? For stupid, trumped up charges like your son, right? Something dumb because he was young. But now coming out, if someone hears that he was incarcerated, they're going to say something. They're going to react a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's got to be awful to constantly be reminded.
Yep.
And even if it's not the right thing that they're thinking about, right? It could be, hey, it was a misunderstanding. I had to go to jail. I did my time and that's it.
Yeah. You're right. These things follow you.
They do.
They follow you. They
unnecessarily. And that's why people need to stop fucking judging. Stop judging. because it makes no sense at all. You don't want to be judged. Stop fucking judging other people.
I'm saying
That's
that
the
part.
tea.
Yes, Johnny Leon Hill. Todd Bridges was the little black boy on a little prairie house on the prairie.
What you call
Wait, Pat said, do you remember the scene when Sammy Davis kissed Archie? Oh my God. You remember that scene? Archie he was not happy. The fuck? He was not happy. Grand Rising Cheryl Lee. Pat said, I love me some Jada. She gets a bad rap. Man, she gets a bad rap? How she get a bad rap?
You gotta put yourself
What
in that
bad
bad
rap? No, I want to know, what bad rap does Jada get that she don't deserve? I want to know. What has somebody said about Jada that wasn't true? I'm listening. Because this, to me, I don't understand how I feel sorry for Will. Like, I be wanting to cry for Will. Because she just be saying shit to tear down her man. I be like, what? Like, we all know Will Smith, y'all. He's famous, and your wife is out here talking about you. Didn't she write a book and talked about their sex wasn't so great? Like, she just
put it all out there.
Yeah, like
that's what Chris Rock said.
Manhood.
That's what he said in his show. He's like, can you imagine your wife sucking someone else's dick and be like, you know what? Let's go on national TV and talk about it. Like, who does that? Who the fuck does that?
Having us look at your husband crying the fuck, tearing down, breaking down on public TV. Who emasculates their husband
right
publicly like this? And then we turn around and go, but she's a beautiful person. But yet we jump on this show and we talk about toxic behaviors, unlearning toxic behaviors, right? Having healthier relationships, right? But when we look at Jada and Will, y'all can't possibly tell me that shit is healthy.
Well, let's look at it from another perspective.
Okay. I like that.
What if they were thinking this is probably something that happens a lot and no one talks about it?
Okay.
Let's talk about it publicly so that people can see that communication is healthy and helps you to get past situations.
I love that. But and I love that. And I love that. But when that conversation was happening at the red table, did you see Will?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, baby. He was snot nose. He was fucked up. So all I'm saying is, did y'all discuss this before y'all sat at the red table? Like how y'all were going to talk about this? Because some of the shit she asked him, he couldn't even answer, Rich. His mouth was shaking like the... Why would you have your man up there like that? And you sitting across like, yeah, I sucked his dick. Come on. Right? Come on. It's too much.
Hey, Fonda.
Johnny said, Will's most embarrassing moment is when his wife said, let's talk about my affair on my show. It is.
Yeah.
It is. He shouldn't have showed up. He should have said, fuck that. I'm not coming. You talk about your affair on your show by yourself because I can't control what you talk about. But I'm not going to sit there and be emasculated in your public eye for ratings for your red table. Right? Johnny, at the expense of his mental illness, y'all, we talk about mental illness healing. That shit wasn't healthy. Johnny said, Pat said, how about this? Get over it already. I have many slaps in my lifetime. Oh!
Pat.
But nobody.
Hey, hillbilly.
Right?
Good to see you.
Yeah. Oh, what? DD.
Yeah.
DD and Lil D.
DD.
DD.
Doo-doo.
Shirley said, late coming in. Just drove 9 hours to attend my cousin's homegoing service. Damn. 9 hours. Condolences and prayers for your strength in this time. Yes, pray for Shirley's family. She drove 9 hours for her cousin's homegoing. But sorry to hear that, Shirley. Wait, Pat said, not me. I have seen many slaps. Okay. I'm telling you. Oh, he's in Indianapolis. And you still joined the show, Hillbilly. I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. One reliable said, oh, let me go over here because IG is talking. Hey, protagonist. Protagonist says, salute Coffee with Friends. I forgot my newer headphones, so I'm gonna catch the reply when I'm out the gym. Protagonist been in the gym on a regular. Y'all been seeing his.
I saw. He's
Yeah.
looking good too. He's slimmed
Yeah.
down a little bit.
Yeah.
I see the progress, protagonist.
Yep.
I see it.
We see it.
I saw him doing squats the other day.
Yep.
I was just like, Dad, get it.
Mm-hmm. Interior said, why do they have to have a bad marriage for life? That's insane to me. Just accept that. That's why he is in the predicament he is now, because he said he will never leave his family. It's him. He believed, he said, he admitted when he married her that he would never leave. You know?
But that's a vow that people take.
Yeah.
Right?
Vow that people
for better, for worse, for
Yeah.
richer, for poorer, sickness, health, all that. You say it, mean it, walk the walk.
Yeah. One reliable sin said Will is about to make $25 million per movie for Bad Boys 4 and Fast and Loose. I don't give a fuck. Neither men are losing. Period. Jada,
No.
my girl, but she got to pull herself together. No, they're making money.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely making money, right? Both of them. And that's why I say, we, right, on the outside, I don't understand why we pick sides, right? You know how people are like, I'm not supporting Chris Rock because he's a sucker because he got slapped and he's not. Do y'all know this man in real life?
Right.
Do y'all the fuck know him in real life?
It's the same thing with sports. It's the same fucking thing.
They take shit so personal, like they know these people.
Exactly.
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Right? You don't know these people. Like when I jumped on that Nene Leakes post on IG and I gave my comment, this woman jumped on because Nene Leakes has this lady success club and she's only allowing people in that make $150K and above. $150K ain't shit. Okay? I'm just saying. That ain't nothing. A lot of people could fit that.
Or in the Northeast, that's a almost like a regular
Northeast,
salary.
right? Northeast,
yeah. Or California, yeah.
Right, or California, right? 150 easy, right? But she was like 150 and send a headshot and order something about yourself or whatever, right? And I said, why 150? Why 150? When you are a woman or a man that has a big following and you're trying to do something for your community, why are you only targeting what you're considering a class of people at a certain salary range, right? And this is why I made the comment, because 150 does not mean that you have excess money. 150 does not mean that you are good with your money. Somebody that makes 90,000 can still be a part of a Lady of Success Club and they could be good with their money. They can have money to travel. They can have money to invest. And somebody 150 too busy buying Gucci, whatever the fuck, and don't have a savings account and don't have money and living paycheck to paycheck. So for me, my comment on it was people in that position like Nene Leakes, instead of targeting the population of 150K above, why not open it up to a broader audience to uplift all people of all salary ranges? Because you don't know, somebody making 50 with no kids might be able to invest, might be able to travel, right? Yeah. Might do well in a club like Lady Success, right? It might be a young person in their 30s. You understand what I'm saying? And so somebody jumped on and was like, oh, there you go judging. Why don't you open one yourself? I said, what? I said, here goes somebody from the Peanut Gallery. Hello. I said, first of all, judging must be a new word for you because you misused it in this context. All right. Mm-hmm. Secondly, all right, I commented on a public post that's on IG for everybody to see, and it's my opinion, and I stand by it. Thirdly, you could have scrolled the fuck by. Later, bitch.
Right.
Fuck? Like, I mean, I said what I said, but that was my opinion, right? And so I'm just saying this to say a lot of people get into these positions, where they can help other people. And sometimes they limit the people that they are helping and they think that they're helping our community, and they are to a point. But 150 and up, that don't mean shit. That don't mean that you are financially secure.
Says
All
nothing about you.
right? It
Exactly.
don't say shit about you.
Mm-mm.
Okay? Nothing. And so I feel like message to those out there that got some money. If y'all gonna do shit, lady success, open it up for your community because there's a lot of young people that might not fit that salary bracket that can do a lot of shit. I know a lot of motherfuckers that make half my salary that travel more than the fuck I do, and I ain't got no damn kids.
My best friend owns a restaurant, does not pull a salary because he reinvests everything back into the restaurant. Now, what does he do? He takes money to pay his bills, but he doesn't keep. It's not like he's getting a paycheck, right? So how would you classify that?
Exactly.
Are you getting a good salary?
Exactly.
Probably not from that perspective, but
exactly. But he's got
if you look at it, he's got 2 restaurants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's just reinvesting everything back into so that he's able to keep going, right?
Yeah.
He's able to keep up with changing food costs, staffing changes, minimum wage changes, all these things that people want, complain about, whatever, etc. But he's trying to do the best for his customers and his staff.
Yeah. I'm just
without them, he's nothing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One reliable citizen said, Into Jada is very insensitive to Will's feelings, but who knows what kind of agreement they have. And Will made it abundantly clear that he is against divorce. He did. Hell, he didn't want the first divorce. Yeah, no, he didn't, from his first wife. Don't be skipping my Willis soft comment. I read that shit. He's making money, but he's still losing his dignity and his manhood.
Well,
you know,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know.
That's a society thing.
Yeah. You know, that
he might be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
He might be all right with it.
Yeah. Well, we know he's not all right with it because he feeds off the public. But I do think that the public, for the most part, he still has a great following, right? This is not gonna tear him down. No. This is just going to loom over.
It may have dented him a little bit, but he's still moving.
Yeah, he's still moving. He just got a lump or two. Okay. Exactly. He just got a lump or two, but that money's still coming in, right? Aquanda said, "You're welcome, Shirley. Of course." Aquanda said, "Who came at you, Raw?" Somebody on Nene. Listen, I got like hundreds of comments under my comment on Nene's page. They going in. A lot of them agree with me, but some of them disagree, and that's okay. That makes the world go around. I'm not arguing with any of them, right? I mean, your opinion is your opinion. I'm open to all perspectives, right? Teach me something, shit. Financial security isn't as good as life security. Hillbilly, what you mean, like surviving out in the wilderness, right? Because I swear to goodness gracious, I don't know how to make a fire. Does anybody on here know how to make a fire? I keep asking y'all this.
I know how to make a fire.
No, not with a lighter. With the
stick. I was a Boy Scout.
You still know how to do it?
Yeah, girl. You don't forget that.
All right. What else you know how to do in case we get stuck out in the woods? I know where to go.
All sorts of shit. I can build structures. I can make traps for game. I could do all sorts of stuff.
You know how to do snares for rabbits and shit?
Not a snare, but I know how to do some traps, like cage traps, drop things, trip things.
Rocks and shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Ghost said he know how to make a fire. He from Mississippi. Oh, people in Mississippi make fires? Wait, he not that all right with it looking like somebody snatched his soul during the red table talk. They did snatch his soul. I saw it float right the fuck out of him. Rich, you gotta watch that table talk. It was Dee Dee said actors do not reflect society. You don't think so? You don't think so? You don't think society tries to mimic what they see in these actors?
That they all yeah, absolutely. Everybody.
Everyone is a reflection of society. Everyone is a reflection of society.
Out.
Right? Johnny Leon Hill, stop beating up the dog. Did you hear about the 26-year-old woman who built a tiny house in her backyard. She rents out the main house at a profit. She makes an extra 50. She's smart. She's smart.
Mhm.
I would do that if I was single and I was up in age. The way this property taxes be fucking you up after you retire and you still got to pay property tax, even if your mortgage is paid. A lot of people can't afford that shit. So that was smart of her to build a tiny house on her own property and rent out her house. I like that.
Mhm.
I like that because what? She keeps her house in her family. She still lives on her own property. What is she losing? She's losing nothing.
And most people do it the opposite way, right? So if they have a structure on their house where that they can rent out, they'll rent to somebody who's younger, single, whatever. They're all and they're making. I mean, the houses that I'm looking at, I'm trying to look for something where I can have some income because it
Yeah.
does help to offset. And being that young and making those decisions, dude,
That's beautiful.
go girl.
And you know
Get it.
what? And not only that, as you get, she's 26, right?
Exactly.
That's smart as fuck because she could almost get her house paid off to a point where she pays off the house, and then when she's ready to go back in it, it's paid the fuck off.
Yep.
You know, I love that. And even that's a great idea for older people who want to downsize. You might want to downsize, but don't want to give up your house. Build a little tiny house on your property and rent out your house. I love that. Okay. I'd rather have a friend to talk to than pay a psychiatrist. You know that.
I don't
agree with that.
I don't.
I don't agree with that.
Listen.
Friends, and it's 9:24 and I gotta go, but friends, this is another conversation that we need to talk about. There is a difference.
Their own shit.
Yeah, there is a difference with talking to your friends and talking to a therapist. Yeah. Right. And I'm going to just briefly say this, and we could continue this piece tomorrow. But you ever have a conversation with your friends and in the middle of your story, they interject with their story and their story winds up being bigger than your story. And then what you were talking about just went fuck completely out the window.
Right.
Right. It became about them now. Right. And you sitting there like this, like what the fuck happened? Right. So to me, or you talk to your friend and they be like, get over it. We just talked about that. Get over it. Right? See, the one thing when you go to a therapist or a psychiatrist, you don't have to worry about hearing, get over it. You don't have to worry about hearing, I'm sick of hearing it. You don't have to worry about hearing, you better not cry. You don't have to worry about hearing this again.
Oh, fuck.
You don't have to worry about hearing, oh, girl, that happened to me too.
Well, that part, right? Because that's even more important is someone else giving you advice based on their own trauma to your trauma. So now everybody's still traumatized. No, well, okay. So first of all, a psychiatrist is just like a doctor of the mind, meaning they're just going to give you medication. A therapist or a psychologist will actually sit there
and talk with you.
So, but they do care.
Yeah, they
right?
do.
That is their job. That's why they got into that profession, because they are empathetic and compassionate, or they're really good listeners and they're good at giving advice. And they give you, it's not that they're telling you what to do, but they're giving you tools that you may not have in your toolbox, right? To cope, to get through, to move on, to live. They are just tools. It's up to you. They can't do the work for you. You have to do that yourself, but they will give you the tools on how to. And that's what's key. A friend is not always going to do that for you.
And right? You don't have to worry about when your friend get mad at you, what they might say, or, you know, whatever, or your friend throwing something in your face in the middle of an argument. You know, a therapist is that safe space where you go and you don't have to worry about nothing. It's just you and that therapist, and it's about you. That's it. And that's all. Right. Oh. And that's the difference between talking to your friends. Because to me, as good of friends that I do have, I don't always feel comfortable talking to them about everything, right? Like I'll talk to them about a lot of stuff, but the depth of some of the stuff that I'm feeling deep inside, like sometimes I don't think that they'll understand, or sometimes I think it'll be too heavy for them. That's the kind of stuff that you can unpack on a couch with a therapist. You could be like, this is what I'm feeling. And that therapist might not have an answer for you, but you'll be able to express it.
Yeah.
Without feeling guilt or without feeling like you're being too heavy on your friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safe space. Okay. Ghost said famous rich people are just regular people like us, but with extraordinary jobs. Of course. Therapists are unbiased, supposed to be, so it's easy to accept their advice. And most times they don't give you advice. Like Rich said, they give you the tools to figure out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't normally say you should leave your husband or you should do this. They don't do that. If you get a therapist that's doing that, they need a therapist. They need help too. Right?
You want your therapist to have a therapist.
Yes, and you
Just
do.
Think about all the shit they're listening to. They need to unload.
Yeah. Right. And we talked about that. Make
Yeah.
sure if you have a therapist, ask your therapist if they have a therapist. Is that an appropriate question to ask?
It
We
is
asked that
appropriate.
on here,
Yes.
and everybody said that it is an appropriate question to ask. And you know what's crazy? Ever since we talked about that on this show, every movie that I watch, I pay attention now, and I realize that some of the movies that I watch, the therapist has a therapist. Like they thought about this in the movie.
Yep. I used to have a friend that was a therapist who told me all about that because he had another friend that was a therapist.
Okay.
And I was like, so therapists go to see therapists? And he's like, of course. He's like, if your therapist does not go to a therapist, then there's an issue. He said, and there are specific type of therapists that see therapists because they know
how to trick
all the tricks, all the things that they can do to cover, to mask, to hide, and help to draw that out so that they're not doing these things.
Yeah.
Very
Ghost said, imagine marrying a therapist. Right, because it was so good seeing Fancy K. She's so little and cute. And a therapist.
And she's gorgeous. I saw the videos. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes, gorgeous. Yep. And Interior Rule, Debbie. Debbie was, she was having we had a great time, but Debbie had a loss recently in her family. And so, Coffee with Friends is going through some things, y'all, behind the scenes. A lot of people are going through some things on Coffee with Friends. And so I just want to say that I love y'all for continuing to show up. I know that a lot of y'all on here are going through some things. Debbie lost her sister not too long ago. Zen, you shared with us your journey. Donovan and Damaris, who has not been on here. Damaris has been sick for about 2 weeks. She has a very bad sinus infection. Donovan's mother had a stroke. She's paralyzed on one side. And so he's dealing with that. And so there is a lot going on in the Coffee with Friends space. Angel's son was very sick, just came home from the hospital not too long ago. And so, there's a lot of heavy stuff. Cheryl is on her way to lay a family member to rest. And the list goes on, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so I always keep you guys in prayers. I always keep you guys in positive thoughts. And each time we come here and we kumbaya, it's another day that we're spreading some love, right? Because we need it. We need it. We got a lot going on, right? Ghost said, my situation that caused me not to be able to go to Cancun and other things. Well, yeah, that part. So I didn't even tell everybody yet that Ghost and Fancy K are not going to be able to make Cancun because situations and circumstances have occurred and Ghost had to change his schedule. And so, but the good news is, let's not make it a sad moment. The good news is that they still are getting married, right? Congratulations to the fact that Fancy K, being a therapist who has a therapist, made them go to couples therapy, which I love. All right, before the marriage. And so beautiful. See what marrying a therapist is like? And so they will be having their celebration, I believe, April 15th. And you know me, I'm scratching to get on a plane. to go to this reception, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it.
Mhm.
But they are still celebrating, their union in marriage, and so that is a good thing. All right, and so like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a season right now. It's a season, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it together. All right. And so it's actually been progressive thing, marriage counseling. Yes, they've been in marriage counseling. I love it. I think you only have what, 2 left? I'm all in y'all business. I think y'all got 2 left.
Hey, I think everybody should go to counseling, especially with their partner. I
Yeah.
think it is a wonderful thing. I think even friends should go to couples therapy at times, right? Because
I know for
it's
damn
still
sure
a relationship.
I agree with you. I swear to goodness, if a man, if I really get, latched on to a man for real, um, yeah, I'm going to recommend therapy because you know what, especially at this age, because a lot of us have been through so many experiences and things, and we're carrying around things, and we carry those experiences from one relationship to the other. And not everybody went through a healing period, right? People are just still operating out of whatever they think is right. And
Mm.
so I agree with you, Zen, and I think friends should go to
Yeah,
really close
everybody
friends.
should.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and it's not because you have problems. You're doing it to be proactive so that you don't have problems,
Yeah.
right? You try to head things off so that it is, not going to cause such a big upset. And people don't think about that. They think about, I have a problem, I need to go talk about it with somebody. How
Yeah.
about go the other way? I
Yeah.
don't have any problems, but I don't want them. So let me figure out how to better myself,
Yeah.
or how do we work on our relationship? But I
Yeah.
do want to leave y'all with something that I
Yes.
found, and this is very kind of appropriate
Okay.
for what we talked about. But it's this thing I'm going to post on Instagram too. This is
And
your
Ghost said
relationships
2 more left. I just
improve. What's that?
Ghost said he has 2 more left. See, I was right. Go ahead.
Your relationships improve drastically, and the tension in your mind decreases significantly when you can simply accept people for who they are instead of fixating on how they should change and be more like you.
Baby, that's a motherfucking word. Can you read it again?
I'm going to post it. I'll post it on Discord and on Instagram so you can see it.
I can't.
Oh,
That's
and
a
if people are friending me on Instagram, I don't know who they are because their names are usually different. So I'm sorry if I haven't accepted your friend request because I have no idea who the fuck
yeah,
you
you
are.
gotta send notes, be like AKA interior room.
Yeah.
Talk with friends. Because I'm telling you, I get all confused. I love that, Zen. I want to elaborate on that a little bit more. Maybe tomorrow.
I'll
Because
send it to you, or I'll
yeah,
send
send
it to
it
you,
to
but
me
I'll
because
post it.
yeah, that one, yeah. We need to talk about that one. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, actually, here's another one that I was going to post too, and this is kind of appropriate too. When you understand every opinion is a vision loaded with personal history, you will start to understand that all judgment is a confession.
Hmm. What?
Right? This shit hits. This hits hard.
What? They not ready for that.
No.
We got to talk about that too. Because
I'm
this
gonna
is
put it. I'm gonna put it in Discord right now so
oh
everybody
my
can
God,
see it.
please do, because Lord, baby Jesus, these are deep. I
Right?
mean, Johnny said a lot of times having a third person in the room sometimes help you say things to your spouse that you may not have otherwise say. That's true. That's why he's like, marriage counseling is the bomb. I love that. Theo said, post that shit, Zen. She didn't say the shit part, but post that shit. Oh my God, y'all. But I love y'all. So this was a great, I missed y'all last couple of days, but I came back with some things on my mind. And so that's what we breaking down right now. All right. The things on my mind and on all of our minds, I hope. But if you guys, like anybody else, like I always say, if you have any suggestions, Pat says, see how Jada was judged. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I love y'all. And the one thing that I say is continue to love up on your brothers and sisters. All right. Because we are all we got. I know I say that. And some of y'all take it lightly, but it ain't to be taken lightly, y'all. All right. We gotta give more compassion to ourselves first, grace to ourselves. And then we will that compassion and that grace will spill off of you onto others. I promise you it will. All right. And with that, Xana, you posting that shit because I'm about to give them.
I put it in Discord already. It's in mental health and support.
Yeah, because we need it. Because I'm about to give y'all the vibes for today. But what are my announcements? August 10th through August 15th, the summer soiree. All right. Cancun. If you don't have your trip booked, go book your trip, y'all. All right. I know, again, a lot of people are going through some things in Coffee with Friends, but we got a trip coming up in August. So if you can make it, go ahead and book the trip. All right. I got to get into summer soiree mode. I'm resting the rest of this week, but next week I'm going to have my sneakers on and I'm going to go through my itinerary list and I got to start getting busy with all the things and the planning that I need to do for this summer soiree. It's going to be exciting, y'all. Oh, the one thing I want to mention is this thing that happened in Mexico, right? Because unfortunately, my trip is in Mexico, right? So some people are probably raising an eyebrow right now over the safety protocols of Mexico. So let's talk about that for a hot minute, okay? Now, Mexico has always been on the list of one of those countries that has not been safe to go to, right? And so it's no different than when you go to Egypt or these other places where there's a risk that something can happen. Right? If you read the story that occurred with these supposed 3 men and this one woman who drove over the border to get some lipo done or whatever, one, they were not in Cancun. Okay? They were not in Riviera Maya. They were not in Tulum. Okay? And I'm saying this because the tourist areas, I mean, I've been to Mexico several times, and the tourist areas are safe. Right now, you have to be responsible for your safety anywhere you go, whether you go to the South Bronx or whether you go to Mexico, right? My thing is when you book trips, international trips, to me, my opinion is you never get off a plane and you never catch a cab. Right? You make sure that a part of your travel, you have transportation from the hotel, from the airport to the hotel from a transportation company, a reputable transportation company. Spend your money. Okay? $75 a person. This is what is all inclusive in your ticket when you go to Cancun. We are not allowing people to get off the plane and go catch a cab to get to the resort. All right. We have transportation vans from a reputable company that takes you to your hotel. They track you from a tourism perspective from the time they pick you up and from the time they drop you off. All right. When you get to the hotel and you have your bracelet on when you're in an exclusive resort, they are tracking you. They have tourism tracking. The other thing is when you book your excursions, never book your excursions with a man on the side of the road. Never book your excursions from a storefront property, from walking up and down the beat in Cancun. If you want to go to an excursion, book your excursions through your hotel. I don't give a fuck if it's $100 more because they have tourist tracking, right? When you leave their hotel, they know who has you, where the fuck you're going, and when the fuck you coming back. If y'all didn't know that, right? A lot of people go and they try to skimp on the money. So they try these little sidebars, they driving over borders, they doing all kinds of shit. A couple of people on here said, can we drive to Cancun? And somebody was like, no, because once you get over the border, you got 7 more hours to go. Why would you want to do that?
Exactly.
This is where we put ourselves in harm's way. And then when some shit happens in in Mexico, we're like, oh my God, we're not going to travel. If you go into Tijuana, you're going to get Tijuana behavior.
Your life is worth the money.
The money, right?
Spend the extra money.
Spend the
Your
extra
life is
money.
totally worth it. You
Right?
don't want to put yourself.
And this is any country you go to, y'all. Just so you know. This is Jamaica. This is Trinidad. Any place you go. All right. And so I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of people will be like, oh my God, I'm scared to go to Mexico. Read the story. They were not in Cancun. The fuck? They drove over the border into one of the places in Mexico that's on our do not the fuck visit list. But we went there anyway. And then 2 people got the fuck killed. And we sitting here like, what? Why would you go to a place in Mexico that's on our do not visit list?
Because surgery's cheap.
Okay? Spend the money. Okay? I know One Reliable Sin. One Reliable Sin said low key, they saying the trip to Mexico was for some other shit because they're saying that there's a hole in that story. Because why would 3 guys drive 1 woman across the border to get lipo? Y'all got to read, y'all. Some shit don't make sense. Don't let it fuck up your whole life over people making these dumb decisions. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Pat, you said not Bermuda. Bermuda is safe because they're not fucking with people. You cannot go. Listen, you can't go to Bermuda. You can't move to Bermuda. They don't want you to live there. You come there, visit, get the fuck out. Bermuda is gorgeous. Okay. All right. What's Moto Morris? Yeah, but in Bermuda, you're going to spend money. Yeah, bread is like $10. Y'all talking about the eggs here. Bread 15 years ago in Bermuda was $5. How much is bread now in Bermuda, Pat? I'm curious. Okay. I'm curious. Because bread is fucking expensive. Bermuda is expensive. The only way I go to Bermuda is by boat. I've never flown into Bermuda and stayed because everything is a la carte. They don't have like all inclusive. You know, you got to pay for everything. And so, no. And it's not like a party town. So once everything closes, it's just dark. Oh, see, I wasn't lying. Bread is $8. I wasn't far. Bread is $8 in Bermuda.
For a loaf?
Yes. Bermuda is expensive. They don't want no poor folk there. They don't have no fear. They don't have food.
$8 is expensive for bread. I feel like I pay that now.
Yeah, but are you buying Ezekiel bread? We're not talking Ezekiel bread. We're talking regular white ass bread.
Oh, I don't need
right? Because that's different. You're right, though. No, you're right. Because Ezekiel bread and wheat grain breads, those cost that money. But regular white ass bread, we talking. Okay. All right, y'all. I got to go. You said too many carbs. I know that's right, Aquanda. I got to go. But Zen, listen, come back tomorrow. What's that fucking shit you posted in Discord? Because I'm gonna talk about that shit.
Mental health and support. You can see it there.
Yep, we're gonna talk about that shit that Zen put in mental health and support tomorrow because, baby, stop acting like everybody should act like you. The fuck is wrong with y'all? I'm going to close after this. You ever been in a situation where you telling somebody something and they go, well, if that was me, I wouldn't have did that. Bitch, it ain't you. It's me. And I did it.
Don't get fired up on it now. Get fired up on it tomorrow.
You see how I get?
I know, but that's why I'm here, girl. I got you.
The fuck? Come on.
All right, go to work. You got a job.
Yes, I got a job, y'all, but peace out. I'm going to give y'all the vibes for the day because you know what I say, even when you feel fucking low,
you can still go.
Hey.
Even when you feel slow, you
Thank
can
you,
still
Zen.
go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
This is Coffee with Friends, and I'm Raw to the bone. Oh, that's fucking Zen. You know, dancing on the screen over there. Hustle hard.
Hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till
Rising.
I'm buried in my grave.
Hey,
To the system, I don't wanna be a slave.
I've been doing shit my way on the highway. What?
And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite.
Hey,
You never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain
anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the
key ingredient is belief. They deceive with the negativity,
but I just slide right by that energy. What?
even when you feel low,
You can still
go. Even when you feel slow,
You can still what?
Even when there's no hope,
You can still, hey.
I never ran, sitting on, man, I still go.
And I don't. I'm out, y'all. Peace. Hey.
Go, go,